What's up, everybody? This is Taylor and welcome to the gameplay showcase for Atelier Ayesha, the Alchemist of Dusk. So this is the fourth entry in the Atelier series this generation. There were three before it: Atelier Rorona, Atelier Totori, and Atelier Meru. And this is a brand new trilogy saga, if you will. This game has nothing to do with the other ones. As far as story is concerned, gameplay-wise and style-wise, it's very similar. But as far as there are no characters or anything that carries over. But let's take a look at how this game works. So basically, if you watch the review, you know that the basic premise of the game is that this character here, Ayesha, her sister Neo disappeared, and you kind of run into her at various points throughout the game. But she looks like she's kind of a spirit, so you're trying to rescue her, and it's kind of unclear how you do that. You have this notebook, and you're given goals that you need to achieve. So I got to learn more alchemy. I got to learn how to cook. Use your alchemy knowledge a certain number of times. It'll tell you what it takes to complete it. 70 or more new items that you synthesize, and then here are old tasks that I've completed. Gather, pieces of the broken bridge, gather at the tunnel. Like, you basically, there at certain points I'll show you can gather items, and then you can hunt monsters, clear 10 enemy groups, and you'll get points. They're called memory points, and once you acquire enough, you can spend these memory points and write down certain events throughout the game in your journal. It's like as if you're recording your memories, you're writing them down. And they give you certain bonuses that'll help you in battle and synthesizing, like HP up, attack up, speed up, that kind of thing. And so I'll show you alchemy, because the big thing in this game and in most of the games is the alchemy. And so you'll see that these items, if they have pictures, I've completed them before. I've just either done them once, and then they'll save it, and they'll have all the recipe items. And then over here, there's an X through it. That means that I have never made it before, and I don't have the ingredients to make it right now. However, if I have a triangle, that means that I've never made it before, but and I may not have all the ingredients, but I have the ingredients to make the ingredients, if that makes sense. Like, oh, I don't have a glass rod. However, I have the necessary items to make a glass rod, so it'll just kind of prompt you along the way. And as you can see, as you pick different items, the quality on the bottom will change depending on what you're trying to do with it. So for the sake of whatever, scorching ore seems to have the highest quality. We'll just make one. You can put them, you can have the game do it for you, or you can put them in whatever order you want. I've found that it doesn't really make any difference, so I usually just put them in at random, because it might mix it up and something interesting might happen, but it seems to not do anything. And so it'll give it certain attributes, like, oh, it's good with ore, it's got firepower, and it'll show you the quality at the bottom. And then days, it takes days to synthesize these. So now let's see, I've got 2 glass rods. I think 3 of them actually. Let's put them in the container, because that's usually where you want to throw your items. You don't typically want to carry around ingredients in your bag since you have limited bag space. But now we can create this thing called aroma mist. Scented water can be misted on you. Maybe trendy people like to do this to themselves. So you're essentially making perfume. So let's see, fruit. Why not? Why not put fruit in perfume? Lucky clover, purple flower, sure, why not? So there's different kinds of water you can make. Let's get distilled water just because it's clean. Then we can get glass rods, which I'm assuming is for the bottle. So you can see how it all comes together. It's like you get the incense and the flower for the smell, the liquid for the liquid, and then the glass for the jar that you put it in. And this is going to take 1 day. So let's put them in at random again, just because, why not? Getting bonuses here and there. Ooh, drizzle power. I am great with liquid. And I'll mix it all together, and now we've got ourselves some nice perfume. Ooh, and my alchemy leveled up. So there are certain items that you can't, let's put it in the basket. There are certain items that you can't synthesize unless you have a certain alchemy level. Like if you look on the left, you'll notice alchemy level 9, alchemy level 12, alchemy level 3. But there are certain things that I think I can pretty much make anything. Ah, I can't. Okay, so I can't make this glass tiara. I need to be level 30, and I'm only level 26, as you can see in the bottom left. And so yeah, that's pretty much the basics of alchemy. If it's got a picture, you've made it before, and you have all the ingredients. If it's got a triangle and the picture is blank, that means you haven't made it before, but you do have some of the ingredients. This has nothing on it. There's just no picture, no X or triangle. That means I haven't made it, but I have the proper ingredients. So enough of that. Let's explore around town. So this is your one of 3 workshops. As you travel around the world, you have different spots you can make. So let's go to the world map just so I can show you what that looks like. And so there's these different areas throughout the world, and so we'll say items. These are items you can forge there. Like you say, oh, I need to make some healing items. Well, you need ton for that. You need moss grass to filter it. And then what kind of monsters are here? Fruit hamster, stray dog. Ah, so the stray dog drops, leather, so it'd be good to hunt that if you need leather to make items or something. And this is the big town, Viersburg. Most of the people that need requests are there. There's a bazaar once a month where you can buy special items only once a month, so it's good to make sure you go there. And then there are just guys throughout the world. This guy, I forget what his name is. I want to say his name's Eric. I could be wrong. Ernie, his name's Ernie. He will sell you specific items. So let's walk to Ernie. It'll take you 3 days. So we can talk to him, and he'll sell us just different items. Some things are ingredients. Some things I don't know if you can buy or you can forage, like leather. Instead of crafting it, you can just buy it. Same thing with these water crystals. Those have been hard to find for me, and you use them for bomb making. So those are good to have. And there's this character. I don't really get this guy. He's like a traveling musician, and he also sells you things. He doesn't really play a big part in the plot, but he is there. This is another village. You notice it says delivery. That means there are people that want you to create things for them. So let's walk over there. It's going to take us 7 days. So now you're wondering, why is this timer here? Well, there's a special kind of event. Let's see what we encounter here. Probably... See, this is what I was talking about in the review. These kind of dumb events happen all the time. You travel somewhere in the world, you travel somewhere in the town, these things will pop up a lot. And to me, it's annoying because in Atelier Rorona and Atelier Totri, the better ones in the series, in my opinion, there weren't a lot of these little side events. They happen very frequently. And the game was all about just forging items, hunting animals, and just keeping you on task. And I felt that was better than this more open approach that Ayesha has taken. They were just more streamlined, more fun, and it really reminded me of Harvest Moon, because in Harvest Moon, if you guys have ever played that, you kind of build a routine, like, oh, I'm going to water my stuff, and I'm going to feed my animals, and then I'm going to go talk to the girl. Well, in old games, you would get your checklist. You would go forage for items, you would, make things in alchemy, and you would repeat it over and over again. You just keep doing it until basically you had everything done, and then you would move on to the next one. But in this, I don't really understand what the point of these things are. Like, I guess we're talking to our friend Linka here, and she wants to learn how to cook, so you're going to teach her how to cook thing, because she's normally just a warrior chick. But I just don't... They're boring, and they're constantly popping up and disrupting the gameplay for me. If you're more about character development and not so much about the alchemy and just, keeping the rhythm of things, then this might interest you. But personally, I feel like the strengths of the Atelier games are keeping you on task with keeping you in a rhythm and just constantly having you do tasks and doing alchemy and that kind of thing. So These didn't really do it for me. They might do it for you, but you never know. So I'm gonna just skip through all this. Ooh, she learned how to cook. Cool. So now let's get back to the village. So this is one of the other villages where you have your own shop. So this is, technically this is Regina's house, but she lets you, bring stuff. So you have your alchemy pot, and you can write down your memories in the journal, and you can save it, excuse me. Burped a little there. But I don't know if you can tell, you probably can't tell because YouTube doesn't really have different frame rate things, but like right here, the game is running at 60 frames per second. There's just this little spot in the house, it looks great, it runs perfect. Then you run right around here, it starts dropping to like 20 frames a second maybe. And I don't know why it does this, like everything you see, this is the room. You can't climb up those stairs, there's no high-res textures anywhere, so I don't get why the frame rate dropped a lot. That really bugs me. I know this won't bug a lot of people because they don't even notice it, but for me, it was such a big deal. So delivery, when you walked outside, there's delivery. You can, she wants some squash tea. I think I have some, so hey, let's deliver a squash tea. There you go. I got 900 coal and I got 30 memory points. And then you can talk to her again. Yep, this seems like it might work. I'll use it right away. And then you get a couple extra memory points. So in the old games, that's all it was. It was just these tasks. All you did, boom, you were constantly doing alchemy. But in this new one, it's like, oh, let me explore, let me do a hunt. Speaking of that, let's go fight some enemies so I can show you what that looks like. Because the battle system is simple, but I think pretty fun. It's turn-based. You can have up to 3 people in your party. And it's a little bit dynamic in that, so it's like Persona. You have to hit the enemies to get into a battle. And if you hit them first, you get an advantage and you get to attack first. But what I do like about the battle system is you'll see on the right, you'll notice there's an order to everything, much like in Final Fantasy X and X-2. You'll know exactly what the order is, so you can kind of plan ahead, which I like. And so Ayesha is very weak. You don't want to hit people just with their staff. You want to use items. So I have like a bomb. I have a couple bombs here. These are healing items. So you want to stock up on bombs and fire potions and that kind of thing because her staff is really weak. Let's do a bomb, and it's an area of effect so you can kind of see where you're gonna hit, and on the right it also tells you the targets, and then you'll notice on the other ones it'll say pursuit and back attack. So what you can do is there's a bar under each of the character portraits that basically is like kind of their energy, and it'll show you how much they can do. So if the bar is empty, you won't be able to do a follow-up attack. But let's just say, I'll throw this bomb, let's have Regina do a pursuit. This might kill them all. Okay, it didn't. So now I had Regina do a pursuit attack, and now she followed up, and she did extra damage. So this is Linka, she's very strong, as you can tell her sword's massive. She's probably gonna kill this wolf. Let's do a special attack just to show you. So there's Start Rush, Adrenaline Dance. Valkyrie Dive is cool. I'll show you that. It pretty much hits anybody on the map. And I believe it adds slow, yeah. Adds a status effect. So that's pretty much how the battles work. They're pretty basic. And then after you can collect, which actually every single time these are things you can use in alchemy. So let's do one more. I'll show you movement, because you can do movement and get different positions. So let's do I think this is going to kill everybody, but I'm going to throw an ice bomb. And then we'll do a back attack with Regina, if this doesn't kill them all. Nope, it did. And it killed it. I didn't get a chance to show you, but I'll do one more. So basically, you can move around the map to get better position. I don't know what the reason for that really would be. I guess you can get critical hits if you hit them from behind, but usually I feel like it's better to stay in a group because you can do follow-up attacks. If you're spread out across the map, you can't do follow-up attacks. So I don't really recommend that. That's what happens when you have them engage you. So you want to kind of always be the initiator. And these are gathering spots. You just go up to them, hit X, and you'll gather items. And depending on who you have with you, certain people, so you'll notice not only Ayesha, but Linka and Regina will help you forge. Depending on the character, you can get more or less items. And you'll also notice the days go by as you forage, and your basket will fill up. You have these things, and then once you go back to one of your shops, let's go back to the world map, it'll automatically deposit it for you. Well, it won't automatically do it, but when you go back, it'll ask you, do you want to deposit these? And once you deposit them, so you want to move these to the container, which is usually a good idea because most of the stuff that you foraged has no real purpose in your basket. That's pretty much just for like attack items and stuff. Let's see. I think I showed you this. No, let's see. Let me just show you this again in case I didn't. No, I did show you. This is the memory diary. So you'll notice I have 154 memory points. I haven't really found a new event in the game yet, which is this is an older save, but this was part of the problem. Was it was hard to tell what you're supposed to do next. You just kind of go from town to town. You're doing tasks. Am I progressing through the game? It's hard to tell because normally at this point, like, oh, there'd be a memory thing I'm supposed to fill up, and I'll do tasks. I'll alchemize things or synthesize things for townspeople, and it'll get memory points. But now I have nothing. I've completed all the memory tasks, and there's nothing to fill in. So you kind of just have to go blindly from town to town in different areas to try to find the next part to progress in the game, which was kind of frustrating. I didn't always know what I was supposed to do. I mean, I know some people like to discover that for yourself, but these games were very streamlined, and that's kind of what I liked about them. So I didn't want to make this too long. I pretty much covered everything that you need to know about this game: synthesizing items, exploring the towns, the tasks, and combat. So I hope you enjoyed this gameplay showcase, and I hope you enjoyed the review. Personally, if you already have this game and you're a fan of the other games, you'll probably enjoy this. However, if you're new to the series and you're like, oh, I want to try this out, I would highly recommend you try out Rorona or Totri first. In particular, Totri. That one's my favorite in the series. It still has that streamlined approach, but it's a tiny bit more open, so it's not totally you're doing the exact same thing for like 12 hours. And as far as hour counts go, the first year took 10 hours, so this could, Atelier Ayesha could take you well over 30 hours. But the other games are probably more in the neighborhood of 15 because they're more streamlined, but there is a New Game Plus. So if you have any questions, definitely leave them in the comments and I will do my best to answer them for you. Check out the review if you have not already. And yeah, thanks again for watching, guys, and I hope you have a good weekend.